The New Global Babylon on the Rise, a dark vision of a world under one government. Imagine a world where all nations have dissolved into a single, unified government. Borders no longer exist. Conflicts over resources and territory are a thing of the past, and humanity has seemingly moved beyond petty disputes. On the surface, this might seem like a utopian dream, a world where peace and unity reign supreme. However, lurking beneath this veneer of harmony is a far more sinister reality, the rise of a new global Babylon. In this dystopian vision, the world is dominated by an imposing global authority. Towering, faceless skyscrapers stretch into the bleak sky, casting long shadows over a populace moving in unison. Individuality has been erased. People dressed in identical gray uniforms shuffle through the streets, their expressions blank and devoid of personality. The cultural and spiritual identities that once made each nation unique have been homogenized into a single, sterile global culture. Overhead, an enormous government building adorned with a globe symbol looms ominously, a stark reminder of the all-encompassing power of this one-world government. The atmosphere is oppressive, the air thick with surveillance. Drones hover above, their mechanical eyes constantly watching, ensuring that no one deviates from the mandated uniformity. The loss of national sovereignty is total. There is no room for dissent, no place for resistance. This is the new global Babylon, a monolithic superstate where the dreams of a unified world have turned into a nightmare of totalitarian control. The Prophetic Vision. Rebuilding Babylon. This dark vision of a world under a single global government is eerily reminiscent of the prophetic warnings found in the Bible, particularly in the book of Revelation. In his apocalyptic visions, the Apostle John speaks of the rise and fall of Babylon, a city that has come to symbolize human arrogance, sin, and rebellion against God. According to the book of Revelation, the city of Babylon must be rebuilt, only to be destroyed again as a sign of divine judgment in the end times. Prophecy scholars are divided over whether this rebuilding is meant to be taken literally or metaphorically. Some believe Babylon's resurgence represents the resurgence of a global system that opposes God's order. However, after studying the relevant scriptures, I am convinced that the Bible should be taken at its word. The verses seem to suggest a literal interpretation. Babylon will indeed rise again, only for God to destroy it completely, wiping this unholy city from the face of the earth. The forces behind the new Babylon. If this interpretation is correct, the rise of a global government could very well be a precursor to Babylon's rebuilding. This dystopian vision is not just a cautionary tale, but a potential reality driven by spiritual forces. Satan and his demons, long behind false religions and ideologies, Buddhism, Confucianism, Taoism, Islam, Hinduism, Mormonism, and Jehovah's Witnesses, among others, continue to sow discord and hatred, particularly against Christians and Jews. The radical elements within Islam, for example, have been responsible for horrific persecutions, from the slaughter of Christians in Sudan to the violent attacks in parts of Indonesia. These acts of violence are not merely political or social, but are manifestations of a deeper spiritual battle orchestrated by demonic forces intent on opposing God's will. As we approach the period known as the Tribulation, a time of great turmoil and divine judgment described in the Bible, the conditions seem ripe for Babylon to rise once more. God, in his sovereignty, may allow this city to be rebuilt, only to orchestrate its ultimate destruction through the very forces that sought to uphold it. The inevitable destruction of the unholy city. The Bible describes a time when God will use the Antichrist and his 10-nation confederacy as instruments of his judgment to destroy Babylon. In one day, this new global Babylon will fall, its destruction swift and total. The Antichrist, driven by his lust for power, will have no idea that he is merely a pawn in the hands of God, who uses even his enemies to fulfill his divine purposes. The book of Revelation is clear on this point. And the 10 horns which you saw on the beast, these will hate the harlot, make her desolate and naked, eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For God has put it into their hearts to fulfill his purpose, to be of one mind, and to give their kingdom to the beast, until the words of God are fulfilled. And the woman whom you saw is that great city which reigns over the kings of the earth. Revelation 17, 16, 18. Conclusion. A world to watch. The vision of a global government might appear to some as an ideal solution to the world's problems, a means to end wars and bring about a lasting peace. However, as we have explored, this vision carries with it a profound danger, a threat to freedom, individuality, and spiritual truth. As the prophecies of the Bible suggest, the rise of a new global Babylon is a development that we must watch with vigilance. It is a sobering reminder that in our pursuit of unity, we must not lose sight of the dangers of absolute power and the spiritual battles that continue to shape our world. In the end, the story of Babylon is not just a tale of the past or a warning for the future. It is a call to remain vigilant, to hold fast to our faith, and to recognize that, in the grand narrative of history, God's purposes will always prevail.